So everybody, welcome to another video on the channel, and in this video we are finally working on the mini some more. So I finally got around to make some time to work on this car and get it ready for the new track days. Now today we're going to be actually tackling the issue that I've been talking about for several videos, and those are the rear brakes. So on the last track day we noticed that one of the rear calipers is actually slightly stuck, and that makes it that it's very uneven braking, and this side actually, like the rear wheel was more dirty from brake dust than the front one. So I'm not really that confident in these rear brakes, and that's why we are actually changing the lot. So we're going to be changing the disc, the pads, and we're going to put on some brand new calipers that I got. So hopefully that will fix everything with the rear brakes. So to start off, we're going to remove the rear calipers, put them out of the way, and then start switching out the brakes. Switching out the discs on both sides, and move on to switching out the calipers, where I'm going to ask my dad to help me bleed the brakes again, and hopefully we don't need to adjust the handbrake too much. So yeah, I'm really excited to finally have some good brakes on this car, or better brakes. So to remove the rear brakes, it's going to be pretty easy. So for one, the discs have a little locking nut here, so this side is already missing. The other side is going to be, I guess, a pain, because these tend to rust shut or break, and because it's a Torx bit you can round them out and everything, so it's a big nightmare. But that's for, yeah, we'll get there when we get there in a minute. But first, the brake caliper has two bolts. So we have one here on the top, we have this little spring thingy, and then we have one bolt on the bottom. So we're going to release those two, get the caliper off, remove the brake pads, and get ready to take off the discs. So it is possible that we're also gonna have to take off the carrier, but I still need to check that once the brake caliper is actually off. So let's get started and remove it. So that didn't take long, and as you guys can see, this is probably the issue here. So the dust boot around the cylinder is actually, yeah, ripped and just deteriorated, and yeah, a lot of dust and brake dust and that came in between that and just locked up that cylinder. So I'm really glad that we're replacing this part. Now, should this be fixable? I guess it is, but I have no experience rebuilding calipers, and honestly, those calipers that I got, like the time I would lose by just trying to repair this, it wasn't worth it, guys. I got like a set of calipers for like 100 or 150 euros. So we're just gonna replace this caliper. We also got the discs off. The wheel bearing seems to be in very good shape. Also, we didn't need to take off the carriers, so that's good. So now we can do that on the other side and then start assembling the new brakes. So after cleaning up the surface, the contact surface of the hub, and we also cleaned out the channels a bit on the where the brake caliper sits and where the brake pad sits, so that's good. Wheel bearing is okay. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be applying a little bit of copper grease on here once we put on the new brake disc, and then we're going to put on the new brake pads, and we can actually mount the new brake caliper on here. Then once that's mounted, we're going to look into transferring our brake line over from this one to the new one, and then do that on the other side. And once that's done, we can actually look into bleeding both the rear brakes again. Then the only thing that remains is to put the handbrake cable on the new caliper, and then this old girl is going bye-bye. I did show you guys this in the video with the overview of everything that we're going to do, but I have two new brake calipers right here, new brake pads for the rear, in Brembo, and we got these new discs all set and ready to go. I gotta say guys, I really love the look of these, and yeah, with the little grooves in them, really love the look. These will be, I think, a lot better than these old crusty ones that were on there, and that will just make sure that all the brakes on the car will now function fully, and I'm really happy to not have an issue with that anymore. So guys, also with these minis, there's like these hooks that clamp behind the cylinder head on the brake caliper. So normally so guys, so this is where we have ended up now. So we've got the new brake disc, which is looking really good. Got some new locking bolts in there. Got the new caliper on. Everything is nicely like looped up for the brake on the brake bracket, on the caliper bracket. Now the only thing that remains is actually to bolt over the handbrake mechanism and to swap out the brake line that's on the old caliper. Now, something that I still want to point out: if you are doing these kinds of swaps, like if you put on the brake caliper or a new one, make sure that your bleeding nipple is always on the top, so that when you're bleeding the brake, so I'm gonna put the brake line up in here, and then air will always go up, so we will be able to bleed the brakes very nicely. Now the only thing that we're gonna do is, first of all, move over the brake line, then we're gonna bleed the brakes, and then at last we're gonna just clamp this together. So as you guys can see, there's this little nut that keeps it in place. So clamp this together, get the line out, pop the line through here and behind there, and then we can test everything out and make sure it works. But I think everything should be okay. I'm still gonna put on the brackets again, and then we can swap out the brake lines. Damit. So with that, our little rear brake revamp is actually done. So we did the brake discs, got new pads, new caliper, we bled the brakes, and we attached the handbrake cable again. So the only thing we need to do now is bed in the brakes. Now, first thing I want to check, so now the wheel is going freely. If you now pull the handbrake, she is stuck, which is perfect. So that means the handbrake still works. And if we loosen it up again, it's free again. So that's amazing. That's really cool. So everything seems to be working. So now we can actually put back the wheels and yeah, check it out. So guys, but with the wheels back on and the car on the ground, everything looks amazing. The new discs and brake caliper pop really nicely with the wheels. Now unfortunately they will not stay this clean, but yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this quick little video. Now I know brakes aren't the hardest thing to do, but yeah, maybe some of you learned something from it. Maybe some of you have done this a trillion times, I don't know. But I enjoyed making this video and I hope you all enjoyed watching it. But that's where I'm gonna leave it for this week, guys. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike and tell me how I can improve next time. And I will see you all in the next video where these fenders are gonna meet this guy. And I'm gonna learn how to use it. So, see you there.